Because there are cases where just a mere $20 difference can really truly set you back and maybe not completely ruin the deal for you, but change the calculation. In today's video, I'm going to go through some condominium red flags that you as a buyer should be aware of before you get yourself involved with a real estate transaction relating to a condominium. Hello everyone, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate and Remax Realtron Realty Inc. You can find my contact information in the description box with regards to my Gmail, my Instagram, my office, anything you need to get in touch with me with. And secondly, feel free to subscribe, comment, rate, and review. Give this video a like if you happen to like it. If you don't, dislike it. As I always say on this channel, honest feedback is the best form of feedback. We have gone from holidays to the new year where I had whiskey in my glass. Now I have some tea in my glass, and it's much needed. Before we get to the topic of today's video, I would like to do some housekeeping, as they say, some channel updates. So first and foremost, I have been doing more posts on my community tab, just polls here and there about my curiosity with regards to your preferences. One of the polls was with regards to if people prefer carpeted or no carpeted basements. But I put up a recent poll about your opinion on the market with regards to condominiums. And in the future, going forward, I'm going to keep putting up more polls to get your opinion on the market. Sometimes preference-based opinions, sometimes what you think will happen. And in future videos, such as the case with this poll, in a future video, I'm going to go through the results once more people have voted and commented. So feel free to comment. I will go through your comments, read them, respond to them, and also go through the poll results. I only do this if enough people vote and contribute. It wouldn't make much sense for you guys or myself to produce a video based on poll results when not enough people are voting, and for you to watch a video based on poll results when not enough people are voting. Anyways, that's that. Let's get to the point of today's video, which is condominium red flags. Now you might ask yourself, well, Sam, haven't you made videos on red flags with regards to purchasing condos in the past? What you're probably referring to is 9 things to avoid in investment condos, as you probably see on the screen right here. And yes, those are 9 things to avoid for investment purposes, but more importantly, with regards to the actual building and the unit itself. So where the unit is located, the layout of the unit, the layout of the lobby, whatever it may be that I discussed in that video, it was with regards to physical and material things with the unit or the building itself. But in today's video, I'm going to actually go through red flags that one can discover and decipher within the status of certificate and more expert legal analysis of the condominium corporation that is most often discovered within a research period due to the status of certificate clause, wherein we do get the status of certificate, wherein the buyer's real estate lawyer reviews, as so do I, the status of certificate to see if everything is up to date and everything checks out clearly and the condominium corporation is healthy enough for the buyer to get involved with. Ultimately, when you do purchase a condo unit, you are purchasing the unit, but you're actually also, when you want to think about it, getting yourself involved in a corporation. You really do want to know the health of the corporation before you get involved with it. And the health of the corporation directly affects how your unit will appreciate and how the building will appreciate over time, because you can have a stellar unit in terms of the layout, if it gets good enough exposure to the sun, it's large, per square feet price is amazing, all that could be great. But if the building, if the actual condominium corporation is in the gutter, then any prudent buyer down the line will avoid your building when it comes to picking and choosing between comparables. As a last point, an important preface that I want to clarify, although I do myself review the status of certificates just to check up on the behalf of my client, because I'm involved in the transaction and it's best for me as a real estate professional to be aware of all aspects. I am by no means a legal expert, and never do I suggest to my client that my final word is the final word there is, because I am not a legal expert, and as always, a real estate lawyer should advise on the matter and have the final say. Anyways, that's enough preamble, but important preamble, so don't skip it. But let's get to the list. First and foremost, the date. Is the status of certificate itself outdated? If it is, if the issue date is old and antiquated, then that's a red flag. Ultimately, a status of certificate is a bill of health. You can think of it as that. As such, if the bill of health, if the certain document someone is providing you to show you the bill of health of a certain commodity, whatever it is, that document cannot be outdated because it does not reflect the facts of the matter at the moment of the purchasing process. I mean, it may reflect it, but you would have no idea because the issue date is outdated and antiquated. Anything more than 90 days is a no-go. Even if it's less than 90 days, but still above 60, it's still a little shaky. Ideally, you would want to have it within the 15 to 30 day range at most. Obviously, the more immediate, the better, but we would have to put the cap between 60 to 90 days. Number 2, the maintenance fees as stated on the status of certificate. You have to see if the maintenance fees as listed on the advertising and the listing for the condominium unit is the same as it is on the status of certificate. And if it's different, obviously the status of certificate takes precedent and takes priority in terms of relaying that information. So let's say if a listing says the maintenance fee is $450 a month, and on the status of certificate it says $475. So you go with the status of certificate because that is the legal object. You know, that is the legal reflection that represents the facts of the matter regarding to this unit. The listing is mere advertising and promotional. It has to be within range, more or less. If they are different, it can be to simple explanations such as through the listing process, maybe the listing was on the market for 30 to 40 days, and within those 30 to 40 days, you have a very up-to-date status of certificate, and the maintenance fee has changed. And for your mortgaging and financing purposes, if you are under a really strict limit for maintenance fees as it counts towards your sum total costs that you have been calculating and your mortgage broker has been calculating, if that is the case, then you need the status of certificate to verify truly that as what is listed is the case. Because there are cases where just a mere $20 difference can really truly set you back and maybe not completely ruin the deal for you, but change the calculation up. And perhaps one of the more important ones in order to understand the other subsequent items on the list is the reserve fund. What is the nature of the reserve fund? You can think of the reserve fund as somewhat of a savings account that the condominium corporation has. And what they do with this savings account is they keep it in case of a looming lawsuit or some major damage that has been caused for whatever reason that they need to deal with and is not covered alone by the condominium fee. For instance, let's say you have an older condominium unit and the roof needs to be replaced on the condominium unit. It's a low rise, so it's kind of wide, it's a wide lot, so it's a big project to take on. The condominium corporation therein would dip into the reserve fund. And if your real estate lawyer sees that the status of the reserve fund is not adequate to deal with future potential problems, such as the one I stated as an example, then that can be somewhat of a deterrent. Because in a situation where the reserve fund is not enough to cover the expenses that are caused by these major issues, then there will be a special assessment levied against the condominium unit. Special assessment is an extra and additional charge that is levied against the condominium owners in order to make up what there isn't in the reserve fund and what maintenance fees don't cover in order to pay and remedy whatever major damage there is that needs to be remedied. And especially for a condominium buyer who is getting themselves involved with a condominium corporation, and after the whole entire purchasing process and the closing costs associated with it, the last thing you want is an unforeseen special assessment coming your way as soon as you grab the keys to your unit. Here we segue to the next item on the list, which is a lawsuit. Obviously, if the condominium corporation is being sued for whatever reason or is involved with a lawsuit, it can be a major red flag. Obviously, if in any situation situation where the condominium corporation is found to have to pay a certain sum of money in the process of the lawsuit, then that falls on your shoulders as well as a condominium unit owner in this building, which therein is an added expense once more if the reserve fund cannot cover it. Now, as I said previously, the reserve fund can be used towards lawsuits as well. However, the reserve fund may not cover the expenses related to a lawsuit. So once again, you really want to see why the condominium corporation is being involved in a lawsuit, and calling back to our the previous item on this list, how much the reserve fund truly is, what is the nature, and is there a upcoming special assessment, and what the reason for that is. All these really things on this list are interrelated in a sense. Anyways, that's a quick video for you guys here today. Might not be so quick after I edit it, and I see it's probably longer than I expected, but thanks for watching. If you have any questions with regards to anything discussed in today's video or videos in the past that I have done, or just in general about Toronto real estate, feel free to get in touch with me. Subscribe, comment, rate, and review. And yes, let's get 2021 off to a good start. Stay safe. Thank you very much.